Motion to adjourn? You have to have humor at all times. Good evening. Welcome to the January 7th, 2025 regular meeting of the Town of Milton Select Board. I'm going to go to item number 1, which is call the meeting to order, and item number 2, ask everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3, public comment. So public comment is limited for a total of 21 minutes, 3 minutes per speaker. I ask everyone if you've signed, that's good. I will keep the individual time. Mr. Milano will keep the total time of 21 minutes. Please be cordial. When you come up, please start by identifying your name and your address. And once you start, I'll put you on. Let me get to a clock here first. Thank you. Oh, no, I have. Thank you, Mr. Game. I forgot about it. It's been so long since I've seen one. I forgot about that.
I'm making it happen.
So. And you're out of luck. No, I'll come to you after. Let me get what's on the list, and then I'll come back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know that. So I'm going to begin with Lizzie Carroll, Chair of the School Committee.
Thank you and good evening. Lizzie Carroll, 37 Randolph Avenue, School Committee Chair, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 3. I'm in the process of adjusting my remarks. I just learned before this meeting that it sounds like we might have the opportunity, after all, to come for a collaborative discussion sometime in the next week or two, hopefully, to be able to share with you the school's budget request, discuss both our level service as well as needs that have been identified. I look forward to that opportunity greatly. And a lot of what I had been planning to say was really to request that opportunity. So I want to really thank you for that. I look forward to it. Since I'm here, I'll make a couple of framing remarks and look forward to the chance to pick this back up. I did speak here last year on our need for an operational override to sustain basic investments in the Milton Public Schools. And I came here tonight with the feeling that it's pretty dysfunctional having to resort to citizen speak to come and have a conversation with my fellow elected officials about how we're funding our town's basic needs. That is why I'm so grateful for the opportunity to actually get together. It's been challenging this year. With the lack of a finance subcommittee, we've not been able to have a normal, transparent process of sharing information, answering questions. And so I hope that we can, redress that in short order, because we all understand there's a lot of urgency here. Based on your last meeting, it does seem you have realized that we are in fact overdue for an override, and Town Administrator Milano explained that Milton requires a $9.5 million override to provide level services across our town next year. When we have the opportunity to meet, we can talk to you about what the consequences would be of supporting an override less than level service. And it is my hope that we can work together as a town to help voters understand, what the implications are, what the choices are before them, allow them to calculate for themselves what our services are worth to them. And I know that we have a lot of information to share from the schools as far as how this could impact our kids and families, not to mention our staff that we hope to not have to lay off. And so thank you again for the opportunity to have a meeting. We will work out the logistics of when and how that can take place. I understand this is challenging, and my hope is that we can work collaboratively to get through it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you give him that one? Where'd that go? Okay. No worries.
Good evening.
Good evening. You're there. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Beverly Ross Denny, 107 Columbine Road. Thank you all for giving us an opportunity to discuss the potential for an override in Milton. I also appreciate the fact we're having this conversation earlier than we did last year. The transparency that's required to engage the town in a meaningful way is something that I look forward to the select board leading, specifically as it relates to the fact that in order to fund the town exactly the way it is this fiscal year, we need a $9.5 million override. Our civil servants, including those working in the library, the police, fire, and schools, perform admirably in spite of earning less than their peers in neighboring towns. This is something we've proved year over year with the analysis comparing what we spend per pupil and what other towns in the area spend per pupil. And in fact, the schools need more than what we did last year. There were lots of needs that went unfunded, and I think it's the time to be very transparent as a town for what the needs-based budget looks like across all departments, police and fire and library, and I'm only naming a handful. But the reality is our town is filled with very well-educated individuals that are capable in engaging with a meaningful discussion with the select board if we're given the level of transparency that I know that you're all capable of doing, because I've seen Administrator Milano's reports last year where he was very clear about what was needed to make sure that we could fund level service and avoid layoffs in year 2. And while I cannot speak for the other departments, each decrease of $1 million, especially for the schools, is at least 15 teachers. For an elementary school with 6 grade levels and 4 classes per grade level, a $2 million cut would be the equivalent of closing an entire school. I can't imagine, given how much our families appreciate their school communities, love their school communities, and are loyal to their school communities, that anyone would be pleased with closing them because we couldn't have a transparent conversation about what would be needed to fund our schools exactly the same way we did this year. I appreciate the fact that Mr. Wells will be leading this charge this year as the chair.
I am?
Oh, you're not?
Oh, good, I'm listening.
Oh,
I'm
you're not?
listening.
You're not? I thought you
I'm
were the
listening.
select
No,
board.
I can't be the lead of a.
No,
override
not an
thing.
override. No, the
I got it,
conversation.
Yes.
No, the conversation. So what ends up being on the agendas, what is ultimately proposed for the override, any conversations with the warrant committee and other departments, I expect that at some point you're scrutinizing what people have shared. And I think I very much am appreciative of the fact that I know you'll be transparent with the community about what it takes to keep our community as it is and to make it better. So with that said, thank you and have a good night.
Thank you. Vanessa Foster.
Hi
Good
there.
evening.
I'm Vanessa Foster, 1325 Canton Ave. I'm a town meeting member for Precinct 5. I don't prepare anything to say, but I just
It's not
wanted,
necessary, you don't have to have.
I just wanted to speak in support of not only the level funding in particular for our schools, but we have gone years and years at level funding, and we're really at a point where we're doing our kids a huge disservice, and there's curriculum that is out of date in our schools. There are special ed students who are not receiving services, and I think it is critical that we, as a town, take a stand and in support of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, you were under a minute. That was quick. That was quick. I'm voting for unprepared. I'm voting for unprepared. Okay. Ellen started.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name's Ellen Stoddard. I live at 251 Canton Ave in Milton. In Milton, yes, that's where I live. I wanted to reflect back to January 2023, when I submitted a letter to the planning board with 78 other co-signers requesting their support of an outdoor residential lighting bylaw to regulate lighting to an amount that is appropriate for the safe use and enjoyment of outdoor areas, while also mitigating potential nuisances in the form of light trespass, glare to abutters and the public at large, as well as protection to wildlife habitats and natural waterways. I attended several of the planning board meetings during that same time frame to continue to advocate for this, and I listened to the debate on both sides of the argument. The chair at the time supported the bylaw, but other urgent priorities took over. Now, 2 years later, we're all very thrilled to see 2 amendments being voted on to go to the town meeting in February. I wanted to express my gratitude to past and present members of the Select Board and the Planning Board who have kept this in their line of sight, especially Select Board member Erin Bradley, who has championed these bylaws and heard our concerns. So I will continue to advocate in advance of the meeting and during the special town meeting, and I will collaborate with other concerned citizens and elected officials to raise awareness of the harm that high-intensity lighting can have. By including light shielding requirements, reducing blue light emissions, and setting maximum illuminance levels, the light trespass will be reduced and contained to property lines, and we will all be looking at better health for our residents. So thank you in advance for your vote of support for these important amendments.
150, thank you. And our final, I don't want to, Christine Lillo? Okay. Lilyhook, sorry.
That's okay.
I know it's 10 Victoria Street, and I know what it's about. Thank you. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Christina Liliuk, and I live on 10 Victoria Street. I am here tonight to express my support for the Town of Milton's application to Mass Save for funding a municipal energy manager position. This application is due January 31st, which is on Friday, and requires a letter of support from the Select Board. We know that replacing fossil fuel equipment with clean electric technologies is the sustainable path forward. And I also recently learned that the HVAC system of our schools is about 20 years old and may need to be replaced in the next few years. We're lucky to live in Massachusetts that offers significant state and private funds to finance such projects. But to be competitive for these opportunities, Milton needs professional staff developing these project plans so that they are actionable, consensus-driven, and financially sound. I work in grant management, so I already know how important it is to have someone who's dedicated to helping develop these kind of grants in a sustainable way, and that's something that is consensus-driven, financially sound, and when lots of all stakeholders are kind of on board with what's going on. So I think that this is important. If we had a dedicated municipal energy manager, this person could lead development of plans in conjunction with town stakeholders and go after funding opportunities that would support the town's sustainability efforts. The bandwidth required is simply too large to carry for individual volunteers with full-time jobs and personal commitments. Last but not least, I also wanted to let you know that this position, the municipal energy manager, isn't offered every year. It's offered this year, but then next time it will be 3 years. So it's a rare and critically important opportunity not to be missed. So I hope the Select Board will decide to strengthen the town's application with an enthusiastic letter of support.
Thank you. What do we have for time?
I have 11 minutes left.
So I see no hands, so that will conclude our, everyone set? Going once, going twice? You want another
Somebody
minute and a
wants
half? Quick, yeah. Sorry. If you just sit down, you can just say, just state your name and your address, please.
Leslie McCarthy, 46 St. Mary's Road. I'm just here similar to what Vanessa and others have said, in support of funding for the schools. I've been in this exact same position a few times before, speaking before you, just advocating for more funding. I'm one of the Tucker PTO presidents, And I've really seen the detriment of, as more and more funding is taken away from the schools, teachers are doing God's work to stretch everything as much as they can. But it's really beginning to impact curriculum, the opportunities that our kids have compared to other schools. And so just really, really urge you to bare minimum keep level funding and just increase to give support to the kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Go for it. Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Renisha Silva Talbot. I live at 34 Willoughby Road. I also have no prepared statement,
You
but
don't need one.
I am here in support of the schools. Our schools are in desperate need of the funding. So I, too, really hope that we can have a transparent conversation about the money and how it's going to be used and how the schools will be funded and how the rest of the public committees will be funded, you know, the other civil
Departments.
servants. Yeah, departments. And yeah, that's all I have, but just speaking up and in support of that and, you know, just supporting us and less politics, you know? Thank you.
Thank you. Going once, going twice, that will end public comment. Thank you. Item number 4, which is discussion, no being no approval, just this, we're going to approve the capital budget tonight, right? No?
No, we'll report on it on Thursday to the Capital Committee.
Okay. So we're just going to discuss, what are we going to do? Are we going to, do you want me to,
It's up to you, Mr. Chair. So I don't have anything prepared. We talked about it at length at the last meeting. If members are looking for information or data or any other information that can help them as they're thinking about the 26 budget and any override, please reach out. I know I've spoken to a few in the last couple of weeks with information and for follow-up questions. So we're available, happy to provide any info. And if there's specific presentation you're looking for that'd be helpful at our next meeting, happy to prepare that as well. So if there are questions or requests around that, that's all I had, and I'll defer to you.
this is all,
Thanks, Mr. Chair. We did have a prepared motion to approve an operational override, though, in our packets.
well, I want to do that tonight.
We're not doing that
No.
tonight.
No, I think based on
No,
the
we're not
request
gonna do
from
that
the
tonight.
school committee chair.
Okay.
Can I ask a procedural
Sure,
question?
sure.
I just have a procedural question, sorry. Is there a specific date that we need to have this done by? I think I asked you this before, and I believe you said the end of January, so that's why I'm back here asking that same question.
So in terms of
No.
procedure, there's no hard and fast deadline. If the select board were interested in including a ballot question on the annual town election, you would need to give the town clerk 35 days notice.
We're not even
If you're
near
looking
that,
at a
yeah.
special election, then obviously that pushes it. In terms of us being able to finalize a final budget, sooner is always best. As soon as possible is great. But there's no like hard and fast deadline by which we absolutely must. Obviously, the warrant committee is doing their work on the budget, and for the special town meeting, they haven't turned their full attention to this yet. So there's still a few weeks before they would be ready to do that. So I'd say mid-February would be
The draft.
very helpful.
So by mid-February, we would have, so our next meeting
I think so.
would have to
We
have.
have a couple issues, so I want to talk about
Okay.
one and then we're
I
going to
just
go
was
to the other.
curious about the timing. All right,
And,
thank you.
and just as a reminder for folks, the town election this year is the only election that's scheduled in Milton because there's not a primary or a general in November.
Override question is usually a separate election by itself.
And there is no other
Yeah.
election that's already
Unless we have-
occurring
yeah.
to put it onto,
Okay.
correct?
Usually by themselves. So we have a couple issues here, since we're talking about transparency. So as the board knows, it came to light this week that there is a significant deficit currently in the 25 operating budget to the amount of about $2 million, or maybe more than $2 million. Did I want to hear this? No, at least for me, I'm sure none of you did. I've talked to the chair about it. I've talked to Mr. Milano at length about it. This is the second time in 6 months, as the board remembers, we had a $2 million overage that came 15 days into the calendar year from last year. We found a way to meet that. Now we're in a $2 million hole now, and then we're talking about potentially, no matter what if or what we vote for an amount for an override, it's going to be of a number that we've never attempted in the 25 years of overrides to attain. And I've done an awful lot for the Milton schools in my life, both professionally and personally, in my personal life. Just for me, this is just my own belief. When you come back, you have to be able to address this. Because when you ask people for money, and when we're in these elected positions, there's a public trust that goes with it. And I hear the passion that goes with from the PTO presidents and the parents and this and that, but like a $2 million hole, as you know, anyone who's elected, anyone who's at this table knows, like, we can't go to citizens next week and there isn't $2 million to take out. And to do that is a pretty big gaping hole when you're only in February of a given year. I was reminded yesterday by a long-term veteran of the Milton Public Schools leadership of a issue like this that happened about 15 years ago. It was a $500,000 deficit, and the person involved in that resigned a week later because of it. Don't think, I've said this, especially Chair, and I know I've said this many times, don't think that people aren't going to ask, like, hey, so when we have this meeting, before we even get to the discussion of what is on this page here, approving an override and setting a number, that has to be addressed, because the voters of this town are not stupid. They're smart. They pay attention. We know that. You see the questions you get. You see the people that come to citizens speak, whether they're pro or con, they pay attention. And so when you come back, when we set this meeting, you're going to have to address that. Because I don't know how, me personally, I'm talking as a resident, not as a select board chair, not someone who, when you talk about, not someone who worked for the town for all my professional life, we have to be able to address that. Because public trust is a serious, serious thing that we have to address here. So we'll schedule that pretty quick. You want to try and
Might as well. If we're all
set some
here.
dates now, and you don't have to answer. We'll pick a couple, and then we'll let you get back to Nick. Oh, you did already? You did,
Well, I
Chair
offered
Carroll?
either next Tuesday night or the following Tuesday night if the board members don't have any conflicts. The 11th is our regular meeting, the second Tuesday in February. But if there's an interest in meeting immediately next Tuesday night rather than waiting till the 11th,
I
that
think
might be an option.
I'm okay with 2 weeks, because this is going to take a little bit of work. I'm okay with 2 weeks, but let's keep a lighter schedule for that night so that we can give this the time. You all right? We all right with that, to give this the time?
It should be closed, for the special town meeting, so that should.
Yeah, so
Right.
let's try and get rid of whatever else, keep to a minimum, and focus this on that night.
Okay.
That work for you? Yeah, that work?
That works for me. I think I'll just double check with the superintendent and assistant superintendent tomorrow and confirm for you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
All good? For now. Thanks. Okay, item 5, which is discussion, update, approval, special town meeting articles. We don't need to make a motion to open yet? Or go ahead.
Why don't I just, I'll walk through them and then the board
Okay,
can
because it's on
vote
the
as we
second
go.
page, the
And then
motion to
I'll
open.
ask,
Why are we- okay.
actually, Mr. Chair, if we could, before we jump into this, could we take up item number
No.
7 first, which is the town council's disclosure?
Yeah.
So the board, I shared a letter from town council earlier today that he identified that potentially his participation in item Roman numeral, oh goodness.
I never heard you say that before.
15.
14.
15.
I never heard you say
I'm
that
trying to
before.
translate. 15 for the citizens petition
yeah,
related to a request to amend the fiscal 25 appropriations by reducing the law budget. Could be construed as a conflict for town council. He has submitted a letter to the board along with a letter requesting the select board to acknowledge and provide consent to his ability to participate in that discussion. Peter's here tonight if the board has any questions, but otherwise I would recommend the board accept his disclosure and provide that permission in accordance with the materials he prepared.
Do we need to, what item is this?
Item
7?
7.
So should I make a motion then?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we
That-
need any discussion on this?
No, I don't.
Okay, I'll move to approve the written determination under GLC 268A, Section 19, and any applicable Massachusetts rules of professional conduct authorizing town council to participate in and provide legal services with respect to the town's review of a citizen's petition seeking action with respect to the town's legal budget appropriation.
I'll second.
All those in favor will be a roll call vote. Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Ms. DeZoll?
Yes.
Myself, yes, and my computer is gone. Can Mr. Cohen hear me?
I can, yes.
Thank you. All right, that's unanimous. You get that, Lynn? So according to my screen, are you seeing what I'm seeing? Updates are underway on the screen?
Oh, sorry.
So I can't
Okay,
see
I'll
you, but
keep
as
you
long as I
updated.
can, you can hear me fine, John?
I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
All right, very good. All right.
And then the board should have the consent, so we'll circulate that. Lynn, do you have that, or did it already come up here? The one-pager? Oh, and it's in front of me, so apologize. I will pass this around. And then we can return back to the town meeting articles, Mr. Chair. Oh, yeah, sure. So Roman numerals 1, 2, 3, and 4 have already been approved by the select board for inclusion on the warrant, so those are all set. And I can report the warrant committee has recommended approval of each of those as well.
It's this signed consent for the.
Okay.
Roman numeral 5 is we were planning to apply to the state revolving fund for lead service line replacement program grant funding. That grant funding is no longer available, so DPW Director Marina Fernandez requested that we remove it from the warrant. So my recommendation to the board is to remove Roman numeral 5, the appropriation for lead service line replacement program funding.
Do we need to move to open the warrant?
We can't do anything until.
Sure.
we-
if
I'm
you
not going
wanna
to do
open
anything yet, so I'm just crossing all
I'll
that.
tell you
I'm
what-
gonna
that's
do
what
it
I'm
in the back.
gonna-
Yeah,
okay.
I'm ready to,
Okay.
Okay.
that's why I asked him, like,
Yep. Roman numerals 6, 7, and 8. The select board already approved. The warrant committee has also approved each of those warrant articles, just so you folks know. And then we get into the ones that need action. The appropriation for the renovation at Cunningham School is an increase to that appropriation. The town has previously appropriated $2 million for that project at Cunningham. The Capital Improvement Planning Committee and the Warrant Committee have both spoken in support of bringing that article forward
No.
from the May town meeting to the February town meeting. So that would need to be added to the warrant. The Warrant Committee has actually already met with the schools and has voted to recommend that article as well, though it's not technically received by them. The planning board is meeting tonight to finalize Roman numerals 10, 11, and 12. So those would need to be added to the warrant, subject to the planning board's
can we
submission.
add them now? Can I add them tonight?
Yep, tonight is fine. They'll be subject to the planning board's
Subject
final
to the edits? Okay,
and,
that's fine.
and to town council's putting it to proper legal form.
I'm sorry, you said that was 10, 11, 12?
Correct.
And those would be proposed by the planning board.
Correct. Submitted by the planning board in the warrant.
Submitted by. Thank you.
Items 13 and 14 are up for discussion for this evening. Items 15 and 16 have been received. These are the two citizens petitions. Both have the requisite minimum 100 signatures. We should have a brief conversation about how 15 will appear in the warrant, but other than that, those would need to be approved for inclusion in the warrant by the select board this evening. So it's 5 to remove, then Roman numerals 9 to 16 for inclusion by the board tonight.
So, may I ask a question
Sure.
before we
Absolutely.
start going? It's my understanding that the select board does not have to vote to approve the citizen petitions to go on the warrant. It's
No.
my understanding that they, no matter what, they have to go.
They do,
Yeah. So we would just be voting on whether or not we recommend them, which,
right.
so it's
Yeah,
not, they're
that's
just going.
yes.
So should a motion be made on those?
We could do it tonight, or we could wait until
until the
we get,
meeting.
till they get to the meeting. Either way, we can do it. I'm
No,
fine
that
with
makes
doing
more
it. I'm-
sense.
I
I just
don't
want
care.
to, preparing.
I'm just looking at town council for his assent on that question.
Right, Peter, you can do it
You
either
wanna come
way. Tonight or at the meeting before we go into the town meeting,
Yeah, probably better.
which we've done past
just wanna
practice
go
many,
back
many times.
We want to go back to the first question, make sure, does the board need to vote to put them on the warrant in the first place?
You would vote on the warrant, all the articles will be presented
Okay.
You vote on what's the warrant as it's to be issued.
Okay.
Need a microphone.
I think what Ms. Bradley's asking, though, is a vote on each article, support or not support. Is that what you're asking, or just to put them
Well,
on?
no, my
They go on-
question-
These are going on anyway.
That's my question. So if we were to do a motion to vote, it would probably most likely fail. And so that doesn't mean that the article fails from being on the warrant.
No,
That's
Right,
what I'm
it's-
trying to
that's
get
a
your point
citizen
out.
petition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're good then.
I'm
Thank
not
you.
using the right word,
So
sorry.
should I make a motion to open the warrant?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion to open the warrant.
Second? Second, Ms. Musto. All those in favor, Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Myself, yes. So
Yep.
the warrant is open.
So I'll make a motion to remove Roman numeral 5, appropriation for lead service line replacement program for funding from the state revolving fund.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Oh, you want to do
Oh,
them
should we
all?
make
and then
a-
vote? Do we
all-
want to do them one at a time, or do you want to, what do you want to, I'd just assume do them.
Maybe one at a time.
One at a
One
time
at a
might be
time?
easier for me.
All right. Roll call vote.
You want to go in the same order?
Yeah, I'm going left to right, yeah.
Yep.
Ms. Bradley?
Yep.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen? Myself?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so that's number one.
Do you want me to do the?
Go ahead, go
the-
for
The
it.
planning board, or the appropriation for the renovation? Do you want me to do like 9 through 12 or 13? Is any, if we can
9
do
through
all of
12.
those?
I'm fine with
9
that.
through
The
12?
the only question I have on, is the warrant committee going to weigh in on the, do they have the outdoor lighting? Have they weighed in either way on this?
So Mr. Zoll asked about 9 through 12, which would be right before the outdoor lighting one. So the outdoor lighting ones, I have not provided them because they haven't been officially added to the warrant. I would distribute them tomorrow.
Peter
on
and I
those
just finished them up over the weekend, Saturday, I
I
think.
just don't want to open the warrant again. That's the,
We wouldn't need to open
We-
it again.
We can just add them now, and then the warrant committee looks at them, and they'll still provide their recommendation, and we can still vote on them, or we can still vote on it at the meeting, right?
Yeah, we don't have to, we just have to put them on the warrant.
but if they vote no, that's, I don't want to, I know, but I'd rather not see, because anything, just past history, and I talked to him, like, I remember the shovel the snow at the sidewalk one, and I got freaking killed. It was a similar type.
The warrant committee has been voting no on a lot of things recently in the last 3 meetings that have not been followed.
Okay.
So I think when it comes to the warrant committee's recommendation, I think the town meeting members have shown that it's not as powerful as it used to be.
I think that's fair.
Sure.
The couple of things I would say with regards to this is the warrant committee has a lot of things that they're reviewing, and I think that when we add things on very late in the game, it's hard for them to really, be able to review it in a timely manner. And so my question for Ms. Bradley would be, could we push it till May? Because I think that's, even ourselves, we're just sort of getting this, and you had
Right.
said that you had just shown.
Oh, no, Peter and I have been working on it for a long time.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying in terms of, you just said that the final touches were put on like this weekend, and now when is the deadline for the print of the warrant?
For the 3 planning board articles, the 2 citizens petitions, and potentially anything else, they will all not have a recommendation printed in the warrant. We're printing the warrant this week, so the warrant is being prepared to go without a warrant committee recommendation on those articles as it is. And if these 2 are added, that would be the case for those 2, and then they would have to provide a recommendation prior to February 24th and have, we
be a
would
green
distribute
sheet.
that through the website and have it in hand at the town meeting. That'll be the case for 10, 11, 12, 15, and 16 anyway. So that's
Right.
just where the planning board has been still working on some of these as well. So
I mean, we're about to vote tonight on bylaws that we're not even seeing.
Right.
So when you look at it that way, and you look at, the fact that these have all been in play for quite some time. I mean, accessory dwelling units have been in play for years. So, I mean, I'm going to, in good faith, make a vote tonight on bylaws that I don't see. And that's your big thing, is not seeing them,
Well, I also looking at the fact that warrant committee has been reviewing some of these a little bit already, and planning board has been spending time on these. we haven't really discussed these at all. And I would ask, actually, may I ask Mr. Mello a question?
Sure.
I know when this came up a couple of years ago, and this was mentioned earlier about going before the planning board with some of this, I thought I recalled that that there would be a process where there would be hearings on something like this, and it would go to the planning board. It really wouldn't be a select board or another board that would sort of take ownership of it. It really would have to go through the planning board because it's more of a zoning kind of an issue, unless I misunderstood.
Well, a zoning article needs to be the subject of a planning board hearing. And the planning board has an opportunity to submit a report. But that, as long as that precedes the town meeting.
So they'd have to do this before it goes to town?
No, these are totally different. These are town bylaws. They are modeled off of.
Oh, are we talking about the lighting bylaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were just asking.
They're modeled
okay.
off
With
of.
respect to the lighting, no.
I'm like, because if that's the case with the
No.
lighting, we got to
No,
stop,
no,
because
no,
like,
no,
we're
no,
really
no,
ahead
no.
of our skis here.
No, we are
Okay,
not.
all right.
And I located a decision from the municipal law unit at the AG's office, which reviewed a lighting bylaw that was a general bylaw as opposed to a zoning bylaw. So you can have lighting requirements within a general bylaw as opposed to, often it is presented as a zoning bylaw in different communities, but there's an example of instances in which the bylaw's been included in a general bylaw and reviewed by the municipal law unit as a general bylaw.
Can I ask two things since we're on this?
Yeah.
Just so I mean, in a way, I'd kind of like to take more time, but I'm willing to let it go on forever because I know it's going to be, I've seen how these have gone before. The fact that, they're in only two. So the key word, because I didn't see this one before, the police officer in me, when I see the word trespass, just kind of goes, what's that about? So when it says, is that similar to a 266-28 trespass? Like you trust, does it have a criminal?
No.
No, well, I mean, to the extent of the
I mean,
violation
you know,
of the bylaw
you know
can
the
be.
word trespass means in the
Right,
in the
no,
statute. Right.
it's a term of art that I think can have different meaning in different contexts. That language was modeled off of a bylaw that was reviewed by the municipal law unit. It's actually, I think the title of it was light trespass bylaw. It's, I think, different from the concept of criminal trespass. There's also a civil-based trespass claim, but so it can have different meaning in different contexts. Now, the violation of a bylaw can result in criminal
I know.
penalties. So,
Chapter 6 of the town bylaw.
Right.
I don't think this would be in it though, but go ahead. Oh, yeah.
What towns was this modeled after?
New Marlboro.
New Marlboro. Okay, yeah.
It's right up the street. Next to Old Marlboro. In West Winston. No, I don't know. I'm just, so, all right. So, look, I'm having, but it's going to be a lively debate either way, so. Might as well have it. Let them have it, one way or the other. It's going to be.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So I'll make a motion to approve items, Roman numerals 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13, and 14 on for the warrant.
Subject to town council's.
Subject to town council's approval and planning board.
On the planning board ones.
Planning board edit or planning board, is it edit or approval?
Final
Submission?
edits, final submissions.
Submissions. Okay.
Sorry, I'll do that again. I screwed that up anyways.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Articles 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 to the warrant, subject to approval of town council and final submission from the planning board.
I have a question.
You want a second first?
I'll second, yes,
Okay.
sorry, and then I have a
Okay,
question.
go ahead.
I missed it, I think I was moving something around. Where's the 2 million for item number 9 coming from?
Oh, sorry. So
didn't write it down, I'm sorry.
$2 million was appropriated at the 2024 annual town meeting for this
Yep.
project. So now, once they brought the architect on board, it was clear that it wasn't a $2 million
Right.
project. It's a $5.5 million approximate project. So it's the appropriation is a $3.5 million appropriation,
Yep.
which would bring the total monies available for that project to $5.5 million.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much.
My own question, since we're at that, you don't have to respond, but members of the school committee, yes. So I do want to see you and I talked about this, so that you have $2 million in your coffers now. And the fact that we moved this from May to February, I would, given the situation in the schools now, I would start this yesterday. Like, I mean, I used to, once town meeting was like certain bids, like when I was I'd go out and start the bid, like, because you get that done, you don't have to pay it till July. But in this case, you have $2 million. You have $2 million in your account right now. I would start using this and start the project, because this just makes you whole in the whole project. I would start this yesterday. That just, you don't have to comment, that's just my, we talked about the fact that you've already got the 2. Okay, you got it. We're all good. I said enough. Thank you. Okay,
Motion's been made and seconded.
second, we good?
Mr. Chair, Mr. Kane has raised his hand.
Okay, I can't say that. Mr. Cohen, sorry, I can't, I have no screen.
I just wanted to say I 100% agree with Chair Wells. Thank you.
I did something right today. Thank you, Mr. Cohen. Okay. Motion made second. We ready to vote?
Yep.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay.
Mr. Chair, just if we could, I just want to turn to the citizens petition, which is item 15, and not to clunk this up too much procedural, but since town council has been unable to participate in this matter up till now, we have, and I will share it so it's on our screen.
Smile, Peter. Good night, thank you.
The petition is here, and it has article, we have the sentence that follows that, and recommended, and a table that, so the article is very general. It's to amend appropriations voted at the 2024 annual town meeting. And this portion that starts with recommended really narrows the scope down. So it's clear the intent of the petitioners is to contemplate this revised amendment as appears here. Typically in our warrant, the recommended portion would be the warrant committee's recommendation. So I just want to confirm with town council that our best practice here would be to just print what we've received as it appears here, and then there would be a subsequent warrant committee recommendation also in the warrant that would address that with their recommendation. So
Yes.
it's just, it created some questions around article versus recommendation. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page since this warrant is going to print. Sorry to be doing this live, but I just want to get this done now so everybody's aware and sees what would go in the article and what would go in the warrant.
That's my thought. I mean, typically you, the language appears as it's presented in the petition. And, you know, I think it's prudent to be flexible with these things. I mean, citizens petitions don't tend to be drafted by professional drafters. And I think where I've seen language changed as a practical matter, anecdotally, I guess, it's typically evolved out of discussions with council, and it's the subject of a resubmitted petition signed by everyone who originally signed the original petition. I'm not saying it's never possible to tweak language, in the right circumstance, where involving a significant issue, but I think in this circumstance, that would be my recommendation. And any confusion that it might create could be, I think, clarified in what's ultimately printed with some sort of maybe highlighted language around the warrant committee recommendation or something to that effect. But I would be.
Peter, could you get closer to the mic?
Oh, sure. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Is that better? Sorry.
Yes. Yes.
So basically, John, I was just saying that my view on this is that the language should appear as it was presented. Typically, that's how you would handle it. And in the absence of a resubmission signed by everyone who originally signed the petition, it would just be, it would appear verbatim. I'm not suggesting that there's never a circumstance where language couldn't be modified, in a significant situation, but I think in these circumstances, it's look, it's a statutory right, so I think that we want to be careful and err on the side of not doing anything that could be construed as prejudicing any of the petitioners. So I think my suggestion would be just to print it as it was presented.
Okay, great. That is helpful. Thank you. Sorry.
Can I ask you a question, Mr. Chair? So I spoke with Mr. Milano about this earlier today and suggested that if the language needs to be tweaked, is that something that the warrant committee could make a recommendation about whereby they could make a recommendation on the article, and they've done this in the past where they'll say, we recommend a no vote, but if you do a yes vote, we would recommend that the article be structured like so.
I don't know if they're doing something like this, though.
Yeah.
So it would basically be whatever amendments would then just be made on the floor at town meeting.
Right. I mean, so long as the amendment process is followed on town meeting floor, I don't think there'd be anything that would foreclose that. You know, a lot of, yeah, I guess that I don't think there's anything that forecloses that, and certainly any citizen's petition can be amended on town meeting floor.
And can I ask one final
Absolutely.
question? For the amendment process on the floor of town meeting for a citizen's petition article, can you make a friendly amendment, or how do you sort of reconcile that with the fact that there's over 200 people that have submitted it?
I think you can. It's an article. I mean, what the petitioners they're requesting language, but I don't think that precludes town meeting from amending it on town meeting floor.
Right. I guess I'm just asking if it could be done through a friendly amendment rather than through.
I think either way, amendment,
Yeah.
like whether it's friendly or an amendment.
And it would,
just,
the main motion on the floor would be the warrant committee's recommendation, so it would be amended.
Right.
Oh,
It would be
right.
a friendly amendment to
Right.
the warrant
Warrant
committee's
committee's
recommendation.
recommendation.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That's all the
Yeah.
questions I have.
I'm good. Thank you. That's all I needed. Sorry to interrupt.
Did we do those or no?
So I will make a motion to include items 15 and 16 on the warrant.
All those in favor? Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Motion,
We need
do we need,
Do we need to talk about the index and?
yeah, so what do you want to do there?
The board can approve the warrant with the inclusion of these additional articles and the index page.
So I'll make a motion to approve the warrant with the inclusion of item B, special town meeting warrant, index, and greetings pages.
I'll second.
Is that all right? Second. All those in favor, Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen? Myself, yes.
Too late for a question?
No, go ahead.
Are we approving all of them as amended?
What are you talking about? I'm lost. The pages? This is just this.
Yeah.
This is item B,
Yes.
special town meeting warrant,
Or
index, and
just,
greetings
or
pages.
just the ones we just approved?
Just the ones we just did.
Okay.
Okay,
Just looking for clarification. Thank you. Yes.
thank you. A motion to close the warrant.
I'll make a motion to close the warrant.
Second,
Second.
Ms. Musto, Ms. Bradley,
Yes.
Ms. Musto.
Yes.
Mr. Cohen,
Yes.
Mr. Zoll.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. God. Okay. What number, is it item 6? Discussion update May 5th annual town meeting warrant closing date and potential warrant articles. So do you have a date when you want to close the warrant?
Yes, we had plugged the last Friday before the annual, which now the date is escaping me. I think it's the 21st. Now let me just pull that up quickly. So Friday, I would recommend we close the warrant Friday, February 21st. And then if members had warrant articles in mind, I know we're doing a lot of work in February, so hopefully the annual is more of a focus on the budget and not much else. But if there are articles folks have in mind, let me know and we can pull anything together. There's nothing front of mind right now other than the normal ones that we add to the annual warrant in terms of the budget, capital budget, the annual authorizations right now. And that looks like would be our focus. And that's all I have.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a timing question?
timing is, what timing? It's 7:50.
Thanks. If we're
what?
meeting on the
I am.
11th of February, do we have to have everything?
This is for May.
Yeah, but he just said that the closing of the warrant is for February 21st, right?
For additional articles.
Oh,
For anything extra other than
I'm
the
really hearing
run-of-the-mill
only
kind of.
part
That's all
things
right.
today.
No. Anything out of the normal annual articles that we always
Thank
have
you.
at the warrant. So just so we can get them ASAP.
Additional. Okay.
That makes sense. So we don't need a motion on this.
No,
Not just
business and update, right? Okay. Item number 8, discussion approval, application to the Mass Save Energy Grant Manager Program for a shared, this is yours, this is gonna be you. Mr.
Me,
Milano?
Chair. Yes, so we have,
Good night, council. Thank you.
Nice coming in.
All right, all right. He's doing his homework.
so
Go
I
ahead.
have, thanks to Nick Connors in our office, and Alex Hasha and the group on the Climate Action Planning Committee alerted us to a new grant program being operated under Mass Save for municipal energy managers. They're offering up to $120,000 to cover salary and benefits for up to 3 years to communities that are awarded this position. When we found out about it, Nick started doing some research into it, attending webinars and looking into it further, and it was clear they're looking for regional applications. They're not looking to necessarily support a single community having a position to themselves. So we've reached out to the town of Randolph and are working on a joint application with Randolph. So the position would be, the lead applicant will be the town of Randolph, not the town of Milton. It'll be balanced 60-40 in terms of time and commitment between the two communities. Where we expect salary and benefits to land would be under the $120,000, so we expect this to be fully funded by the grant. If we comply with the rules and if our grant application is successful, we comply with the program, it could be renewed for up to a total of 3 years. So it could be up to 3 years that this position is funded through the program. So what we'd be looking for is approval of the letter of support so that we can finalize the application with Randolph and get it in before the deadline this week. It is through Mass Save. It is subject to review by the Department of Public Utilities. So I just mentioned that because MBTA Communities is something, and when we're talking about grants, just something to keep in mind. But this position would enable us to chase grant dollars, think about our building projects with more of a project-based management team than we have presently. Happy to take any questions, and I know Nick's on the call and available as well.
You need a
Though he was
motion?
sick today, so if
You need a
go
motion
easy
on
us.
this?
Motion to approve the letter of support.
Make a motion to approve the letter of
Mr. Cohen has
support.
raised his hand, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, okay, so Mr. Cohen, you all right if I do a motion and a second first, or? Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to talk about this item.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm actually in a trade show right now with Mass Save. And I don't know, I just wanted to say, Nick, that they're saying that the person, I don't know who picks the person between us and Randolph, but the person picked is critical for this position when we do it. And I can contribute to that, however, when the
No,
time comes.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's helpful. That's good feedback. And
You want to contribute by making a motion to approve, Mr. Cohen?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Do I have a second by Ms. Musto? Go ahead, you can finish on the discussion, Mr. Cohen, first.
I'm sorry?
Are you good? You have another comment? I'm going to let you.
I'm good.
Okay.
Nope, that's good.
Okay, roll
I said
call
it.
vote, Ms. Bradley.
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, my apologies, my bad.
Do the 5 of us need to sign it, or can we just authorize the chair to sign on our behalf?
can authorize the chair.
How about you? Just should be you?
We have an electronic signature
All right,
of the
okay,
board.
okay.
We
so
have
the-
everybody's electronic. Okay, great, because
So
I
that's a
just.
friendly amendment? Okay, so given the amendment,
Thank you.
Ms.
Yep.
Bradley?
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Myself, yes. Okay. Item 10. No, there isn't. Oh, yeah, 9. I'm reading the thing. Okay, 9, discussion approval, East Milton 40B, project residence in East Milton. This is approval of the construction management plan. Mr. Milano.
Mr. Chair, we don't need approval of the board to approve the construction management plan. We just wanted to provide an update that, we had an initial conversation a few weeks ago, it reported back in terms of traffic commission. So where there are kind of two elements to this project. Outside of the construction fence and inside the construction fence. Outside affects our public ways in terms of Franklin Street and Bassett. The development team is proposing to take truck traffic off of Granite onto Adams, onto Franklin, into the site. Everything stays within the site, exit out onto Bassett and back out into Granite to try to minimize any truck movement through the neighborhood beyond that. So part of that means that to accommodate it, Franklin Street would be helpful to be a one-way to minimize that traffic in two directions. During the construction hours, they will move a fence out into the road on Franklin Street, which will narrow the road, which means the parking that is there on Franklin Street won't be usable during construction hours. The fence will be moved back at the close of construction, and the road will be a one-way with parking available. This game plan's been discussed, and staff are supportive of it, are open to it. I just wanted to bring it back to this board before everybody signed off on it in terms of everything outside of the fence, in terms of the management plan itself, and all the requirements for planning board or building department review, any requisite reviews by the health department that will continue upon submittal and review. But in terms of this board, just wanted to make sure there wasn't any outstanding items. And then Traffic Commission would come back with a recommendation on the one-way on Franklin Street.
Soon.
Yes, I would expect at one of our 2 meetings in February. And
I see they buried it today. The barriers are up.
Correct. Mr. Kane has raised his hand. Just so
Mr. Cohen, go ahead.
I just wanted to, it's been on my list and I should have done it sooner. I'd like to try to schedule a meeting with the, local neighbors and the development team, just to make them feel part of the plan. We've talked a little bit about it. There's always going to be some objection, but I'm just trying to help them feel part of the decision. So I don't know if that's with Melina or you, Nick, or something, but I'd like to try to schedule that. Thank you.
So I'm okay. I mean, we did have, I know you're the newest member here, we had numerous meetings leading up to this over the 7 years it's taken to get to here. I'm fine. I thought I did hear Marina say, though, the other day to you that she intended to have another meeting. So I don't know if we so much have to be in it, Mr. Cohen. I mean, any member can attend, but if Mr. Milano and Marina want to put that together, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, and we can follow up with the development team as well. And John, if you want to reach out later this week, early next week, we can work on that.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay. You good? We're not voting. There's no vote. Okay. Moving right along. Item number 10. Discussion approval the new East Milton Fire Station building project, which the Fire Station Building Committee has probably already done by now. They met at some of their meetings simultaneous with us to make their recommendation on their contractor tonight. But Mr. Milano's seen the bids, and you probably can't, we don't know what they picked, but you can comment.
Yeah, I was just going to state that as much. Building committee is meeting right now in Cronin. We expect to have their feedback and thoughts on next steps. I told them to get back to me tonight or tomorrow morning. So we knew, and just to put this in context, and we talked about this a bit before it went out to bid, but under the so-called Hurley Amendment, there's a question of the maximum amount of money in projects we can do. And then there's a question of how these projects are financed, and basically the declining debt on our school projects and library projects is declining over time, and the excess and difference between what it was and how it's declining is funding these projects. So managing the debt service to stay within that is kind of task one. The other task is that the town meeting has appropriated money to these two projects. So the total cost of East Milton and the headquarters has to be under that maximum appropriation. So what the building committee will need to report back is, based on project costs and project estimates, are they below the appropriation? And can we work to keep that debt service within our projection? So we'll be reporting back their plans. If for some reason the appropriation isn't enough, then it's a matter of town meeting needing to vote on that. So more to come, but I'll keep you updated. It was a very competitive.
10 bids, right? 10 bids?
I think
9
it was
bids?
it was 9 bids. the lowest with the alternates, one was was just under 8.3, the other was 8.3. They're about $30,000 apart in terms of the two low bidders. So it was a competitive process. 9 very interested companies, so helpful for us, and now it's the building committee will make their recommendation, and I'll report back from there.
Much different than the animal shelter, Ms. Musto, go ahead.
You mentioned that it would have to be under the total appropriation. What is that amount?
34 million, or 34.5?
Yeah, it's right around 30, I think 34, 35, right in there. I can get you the exact number.
And they're close, they're very close, they're like close, go ahead.
And for people that are watching, how much was the main fire station come in at?
It's like 24 million.
It was about 24 million, but that 24 million includes designing the 3 projects to like 90%. So it's 24 million isn't just that project, it's a lot of design
It's
costs
all
in
3
the other 2 as
stations.
well.
Okay, thank you.
So just to follow up to, for those who don't know, so the Hurley Amendment allows the town to draw down, I believe, up to 55 million towards 3 new fire stations and also towards the construction and development of new DPWs. So to Mr. Milano's point, to get to engine 4 at some point, which we don't know when it'll be, we'll have to go back to town meeting to exercise the whole thing, another draw on that 15 million. I don't know, it's not going to be, that's the last of the 3 stations, but we're a few years away from that. But just for the people on that side of town, you have not been forgotten, and this is a unique, having been involved since its passage, this is really a unique formula where we're able to use retired debt to build 3 new fire stations without creating any additional tax debt to any of the residents. But the difficulty is the expense has to follow the amount of money retiring. So you got to have you can't have a negative balance when you need to draw money in this project. So, that good? We no vote on that. We vote on this? No.
No,
Okay.
not right now.
All right. So, we good? We good? Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Cohen, I can't see you. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay. Item 11, discussion, update, approval, town administrator evaluation. I wrote it tonight on my way here. No. So, quick question. Is this because we did this in August? Are we overdue from August? Are you not giving me just
We are overdue. I should have been more pushy on it, but it is several months overdue at this point, and I sent out the form again at the end of last week. We can include it on the next agenda if folks return it before then.
Is this, I just refresh my memory here because my brain's fried right at this point. Is it conditionally a contract?
It is.
So I'd be all right just putting it off till next August. Let's do it.
There's
There's things
financial.
attached to it.
There are, they have to be, okay. So you sent it to, go ahead.
Not only that, is last time we had somebody aggregate them, is that,
The board had agreed when we talked about this originally that the chair would again, as they did last year.
aggregate?
So everyone sends them to me and then I'll make-
Everybody sends them into HR. They'll go in my personnel file. You can go in and get them, prepare a composite reflecting everybody's feedback.
Should I
and then
bring a
report
red
back
pen?
to the board.
I went to Catholic school, do it. Should I bring a red pen this
Yes, sure, that works.
Teasing you. Are we okay with that? So
Yeah.
can we set like, by the 11th, it doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, and then I'll get them from her and, okay. John, you are, Mr. Cohen, you all right with that?
Yes.
Okay. All right, item 12, the consent agenda. Oh, let's just, anyone want to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Yes.
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 Oh, no, I'm sorry,
Yes.
Ms. Bradley. Ms. Musto, I'm getting near that point.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Cohen, Mr., and that's, the consent agenda is items A, B, C, item 1, I, and double I, item 12. Okay, number
13.
Lucky 13.
Where is the, how did I lose that? Oh, I got it. Discussion approval meeting amendments for January 7th, 2025. Questions before I ask for a motion? You good?
We saw the changes that Ms. Musto made.
You did, they already got them?
Yeah.
So you made?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So,
Lynn sent them.
motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended by Ms. Musto.
Motion by
second.
Mr. Zoll, second by Ms. Musto. Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen? Myself?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, number 14, Town Administrator's Report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of things in terms of some staffing updates, DPW focused. We have a new environmental coordinator who'll be starting on Monday, Cassandra Calabro. No relation to Jack Calabro, just to put that out there. Aldo Bindo has moved up to a senior foreman position, so we're happy for his internal promotion. Well deserved. We've also had a number of other promotions in the works today at DPW. We had done an CDL training course where the employees paid to participate in a lower cost CDL training course that took place at the yard on town time. And a number of folks had passed their tests, so we're moving members of the team around to reflect that additional status. So I'll get a summary, but just say we have 2 part-time employees or seasonal employees are going to go full-time, and a few other folks who are moving up. So happy to see the internal promotions and people staying with the team. And we're lucky to be able to offer that CDL program that the employees were willing to step up and participate in. So appreciative of their efforts. And as we're in the middle of winter, all the CDL drivers we can get, we will take. And if you want to drive a plow for the town, please let us know.
We might need you tonight.
No.
Is it going to snow tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting things on my phone.
Quoting
Fast
to-
enough.
One and
Where
two.
have I been today?
Yeah.
So they'll be coming in at 1 and we'll be on through the night. And then our internal staff engagement team, for lack of a better title, which is the HR director, and then a few other folks have been doing an employee survey and also been going out for employee breakfast. We've had one at the library, at the police, at town hall, and a couple more to come. So grateful for their efforts to engage with folks. That's really all I have for this evening. Just as a reminder to town meeting members, February 24th. The warrant will go up online as soon as it's ready, probably first part of next week. It should be in the mail shortly thereafter. And just keep an eye out on our town meeting website because additional recommendations will be posted there. And in kind of an unusual case this year where a number of recommendations will not appear in the warrant but will be available on the town website. And I think that's it for me, Mr. Chair.
I have no report. Anybody?
Rex.
I should take this bet you were going to raise your hand. Go ahead.
That's not very nice.
I'm not. That shows how much I paid attention to you.
Oh, okay. So there'll be green sheets for those ones that are on the website. And then also, can you just remind people, it looked like the schedule for town meeting is actually 3 nights in a row this year. Is that correct?
Oh, yes, good point. So the auditorium is
going
being
3
used
nights.
on the Thursday. So we have booked Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And maybe we will be done on Monday.
Yes.
Just thought I'd mention it because the Wednesday is not typical.
It is not, and
Yeah.
actually it was planned that way for the annual, but that is a good point. We'll try to highlight that actually a little better on the warrant. Thank
Sure,
you for
thank
pointing
you.
that out.
I have no report. We good? Public comment? Kind of know what, to the majority, we're going to have a second meeting, so that kind of addresses most of that. So,
And we took care of the other 2
Yes.
that came,
so
so that was nice.
what at the rest?
Mr. Cohen raised his hand.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Cohen.
Can I make a public comment response?
Sure.
Not directly to those tonight, but
It has to
since
be
joining the S,
It
since
has to be,
joining
hold
the
on,
S,
Mr. Cohen, it has to be, public comment response has to be to the comments that were made directly tonight.
well, then I should have made this earlier, and when we were discussing the warrant articles. Is it possible to discuss it now?
You can't now, we're in public comment response. The warrant's closed. So public
Okay.
comment response is our ability to respond to the residents who come and speak at public speak. Tonight, there were three topics: an override, mass save, and lighting articles. So
Yeah, so he could, any of those.
you can talk to any one of those 3.
Well, could I say that? Never mind. I'll do it when it comes up then.
Okay, all right.
It'll come up. Those, we still, so my understanding is we still haven't approved 4, 5, and 6. Means testing, SBC, and the feasibility study. Is that correct?
Yeah, that was approved before, that was already done.
Already
That was
done.
done before that was done last meeting.
But they're amended. for amendments on the document that I have. The draft
articles
for tonight
themselves-
shows amendments to those articles. Are those how did that, I asked for amendments last time. And they're in red on this one.
On which article are you referring to?
Articles, it's specifically 6 and 7.
I don't have anything in red.
We can't do that anyways. Neither of them were part of the citizens petition.
So
Hold on.
I can respond and give
We're going
the
way
answer.
outside our 22 here, so we got to be careful. What's in red? I don't have anything in red.
Just again, I'll pull it up and I'll be able to respond real quick. So on article number.
There you go.
You can ask a question on our members' report, but we can't take any more votes. So go ahead, John. Now you can ask a question.
Mr. Kane, let me.
Yeah.
So
Do you want to
changes that you're referring to, Mr. Kane, are in Article 6. Those have been made and are included. The red lines. That is how the article will appear, and then on Article 7, the request that you had in terms of the additional language, that is the warrant committee's recommendation, not the select board's article. So this is how the warrant committee has seen the recommendation. So they've seen this additional language that the select board had discussed at its prior meeting, but it is up to the warrant committee whether to include that recommendation or not. If they don't, the select board can offer it as an amendment if it sees fit to do so. But this is how it was presented to the warrant committee. What the select board was improving was the inclusion of the article itself, which I've highlighted. The recommendation in bold is the warrant committee's recommendation, so it's not the select board's control. And then I'll just roll back up to Article 6 and the discussion about showing the existing roster. We did include that in the article that went to the warrant committee.
Sorry, I got locked somehow. My computer crashed. I'm back. I heard that, Nick.
Okay.
You
So
okay?
Can I now make my comments to that?
Yeah, but you can make a comment on it. Go ahead, but we can't change anything. So go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm just, bear with me. I lost everything. Give me 1 second here. So I just wanted to say, especially to these two articles, since joining the SBC, I feel I've been treated poorly, to say the least. I have many times been chastised when I requested information and then never received it. I have been told in an aggressive tone that this SBC is 100% supports this option. This whole issue came up when I simply requested the words to limit when the monies could be spent, which is when they should be spent, which is good fiscal policy. So do I have a trust issue? Yes. Is it justified? So far, yes, but I'm willing to do what I can to improve it. Thank you.
Okay. Good.
Can I just ask one question to clarify? So just so everyone understands, so the articles that we approved for the warrant, we're approving them to put them on. And as far as specific votes that we take, whether we support an article or don't, can you just clarify, have we taken those?
No, the board has not voted on any of them yet in terms of
So I just
support
want
or
everyone to
opposition.
understand that's watching. What we were doing is approving these articles
For the warrant.
And we haven't taken our specific votes.
No.
On any of them.
On
Right.
any of them.
Right.
Do you get that, Mr. Cohen?
Yes, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure people knew that at home. Thank you.
Okay. We good?
Oh, future agenda.
Future agenda items, yeah. So future,
The meeting dates, we'll just do the 11th, and then we'll meet right before town meeting on the
yes. Sorry, my bad. Okay, so you sent us, yeah, so future meeting, 25th and 26th of February. Hope we won't need them all, but the future agenda items,
Just the school piece that you,
Can I ask about future
Sure.
agenda items? So I know we're going into executive session around MBTA communities, but are we going to have a public discussion about MBTA communities at some point as well?
You mean like a public comment, like a hearing?
Well,
No,
I think
even just
that
a conversation.
Just a
Oh, yeah, I think we
conversation
have to.
about
Oh,
the,
yeah, I think-
the verdict and then the next actions for the town. I think we could do that in a way that wouldn't compromise the.
I think we do. I think especially depending on where the planning board's going. My gut is they're going in the direction that you had suggested, that you had made mention of last meeting. The one that I had made reference of as well. And I believe Senator Driscoll has as well, so. So yeah, I do believe once we get this, we're definitely gonna have to have a public discussion about it.
Okay.
Because we'll have to vote on it
I agree.
Yeah.
as the final
I agree.
arbitrators, since
agree.
it falls under us.
Okay, that was. I just wanted to float that out there as an
Yeah.
agenda item.
Nice one.
Okay, now,
Do you have your paper?
Oh, can I say one thing real quick before we?
sure.
It's Lunar New Year, Chinese
Yeah.
New Year.
Went to a great party in Randolph Sunday night.
Yeah, there's an event at I believe
Pierce.
it's at
Pierce,
Pierce
yes,
at,
yes.
from 5 to 7. Is it this Friday?
The 8th.
The 8th. That's right. It's next Friday. Everybody's welcome. They're looking for volunteers.
I give the Randolph one an A for food. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, okay, we good?
Yes, sir.
So I have my motion. I need the motion to read.
Here, it's right here at the bottom.
Cool.
19.
Okay, item number 19. So I'm going to make a motion pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30, Section 21, Paragraph 3. This, we're going to enter into executive session with regard discussing strategy with respect to litigation, Attorney General versus the Town of Milton et al. Case number SJC 13580, number SJ 2024-0078, SJC Suffolk County. The motion is to move into executive session for discussion regarding strategy with respect to litigation filed by the Attorney General versus the Town of Milton et al. Based on my belief that discussion of this matter in open session may have a detriment on the litigating position of the Select Board, the Select Board will not return to open session. Then item number 20 is an exec.
I'll
Oh,
second.
oh, yeah,
Second.
okay, also second.
Aaron will second.
Whoever.
Ms. Bradley?
Yes.
Ms. Musto?
Yes.
Mr. Zoll?
Yes.
Mr. Cohen? Myself, yes. And then
Yes.
the second motion will be executive session. We'll be moving into executive session. The second item, we discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining regarding the Milton Clerical Unit, Southeastern Mass, Milton Professional Management Association, Milton Public Employees Association, Milton Firefighters Local 1116, Milton Police Patrol Association, it's Milton Police Patrollers Association, Milton Superior Officers of Milton Library Association. Based on my belief, the discussion of this matter in open session may have a detrimental effect on the litigating position of the Select Board. It's your fault. And the Select Board, Cohen, myself, yes, we are adjourned.
Yes.
Okay.